Hi everyone, good evening. So this is a little follow-up video for the stateful programming, and I will release some additional videos over the next couple of days. So the first one, I would like to give you an idea how to implement some logging into your bot with just a very simple example. So in the last video I explained why stateful programming and state-aware bots are important. And if you did not watch that video, please do so first, so that you know what we are talking about here. So in this video, I will show you an idea how to implement logging for the click command. So we have the launcher and we are on the Amazon page. And I wrote my own defined command called myClick. Oh, let's take a quick look into that. So it's a command, it has the name myClick, so that it shows up in my commands as myClick, right? I specified two parameters, an parameter variable expat and a variable log data. So the first thing what I do is in an if command, I do a comparison and I check the return element count on the expat expression. So what this will do, it will check the site and validate that, or if we get less or more than one result, right? So you should write expat expressions that only return one result, because otherwise, you're not never sure if you interact with the right element. So sometimes, even when you have multiple hits, right, that the expat expression finds multiple elements and by luck the button you want to click is the first one, then your expat expression might work even though it's not unique. But I highly recommend that you spend some time writing proper expat expressions who are unique, so they only return one. So with that comparison we will find out if it's more or if it's zero. I mean, you can make that myClick define even more complex, right? And you add more checks. You could check, does it return more than one? So that will also tell you if this worked before, right? And then at some point when you run your script, it will return more than one result. That will tell you that something has changed on the side. You could also add another if-then check, and instead of using does not equal here, you could use more than or higher than one, right? And add an additional if check for equals zero, right? So that you can check also for that scenario if that element is not there anymore, because here it just only compares if it's not equal 1. So it could mean more than 1 or less than 1. So we do not distinguish in this example. But you can make that as complex as you want to. So if it's not equal 1, right, then it will run append to log, right? So it will, if it's not there, create a log.txt. And at the beginning, I will delete that log file, right? So that when the bot or that process starts, we created a fresh log file. You can also use variables here, right? Like the date or the time, so that you have multiple log files, or you could increment a variable, right? The first time you run it, it's log 1, then log 2, log 3, and so on, whatever you want, right? And then I write the text error. I use the date variable, the date function, which will return the date and the time. Then I use expat. I add the expat expression so that when I look at the log file, I see what expression was or had an error. Then I add the log data. Log data is a variable that I can define. So I will use some specific text that will be then added to that log file. I will specify the error, element count not 1, and I add new line, so that I can run that multiple times. So then else, so that means else if that condition is not true, which means it is 1, then it will click, right? It will execute the ExBrowser click command with the expat expression, and it will append to the file, also success, expat, and so on. You could add date here as well. so that whatever you want to see in that log file. So now then instead of in your code using the click command directly, you always use the myClick command, right? And you add the expat expression and you specify the log data. And that way the define will always check if the expat expression has only one match, and also add to the log file. So when we run that now, when we run that now, that's another stop command here. It's not launching the stuff again. So the browser's still already open. So we run that. Well, first let's take a look at the log file. It's empty now. So we run that. Execute the first command. Try that, and then the second one, and that's it. So now we go to the log file, said okay, it's modified, reloaded. So now you see, okay, the first one was an error because I specified in a very like just //a, which targets every A element, so multiple on that side, not just one, which means it's not unique, element count not 0. So it adds that to the log file with the error, with the data. It specifies the log data. So the text we specified, first click main button, right? And then we also have a successful one. So that way, if you have multiple click commands, and you can do that for other commands as well, right? Write your own define for I don't know, type text, whatever you need, right? And you can then copy that and store it somewhere, right? Save it to your template folder. So every time you write a bot, you just add that define to your code, and you're ready to go, right? And if you sell bots, ensure that the log file is stored not on a specified drive like Z or C. Use some variables here, like the bot directory or app directory. Right? There's a function for that. Special folder, right? You could use that, and then you use special folder. Right? You select program file, startup, whatever, the application folder, right? I think you have to add a slash, .txt. So, and then it will write it to that folder, right? I mean, you can check what the result is of that function. So here in my example, so you have to add a slash at the end. Here it will be in my development Dropbox folder. And if you compile the bot and put it in a C drive or somewhere else, then it will special folder application will return the folder where your bot executable is stored. So that way you can save the log files to that folder where your bot executable is stored. And then, you can save multiple log files, you can rotate them, whatever makes sense for your use case. But then you have the data, right? And you see exactly what click command produces an error and which one works, right? And you can even do that for bots you sell. And then if your customers, if they report an error, you just tell them, hey, send me that log file. Then you can check it, and then you see exactly what's going on. So that way you have some validation in your command, and you added logging capabilities to that. So that's it for today. I hope this helps. Wish you a nice day. Talk to you soon. Bye bye. Ciao.